and hello everyone, and welcome into another episode of Matt Sports Talk. And it's hard to believe that it is a Monday and it's the second week of November, and of course basketball season's coming up. At least league play for that starts in actually a week from Wednesday, so really excited about that. And I'm still going to do daily game recaps once that starts next Wednesday, so be on the lookout for a video next Thursday recapping both the men and the women's games of Crossroads League play from next Wednesday night. And of course, I plan on doing those videos probably every Thursday, recapping the Wednesday games, and every Monday recapping the Saturday games. So make sure that you stay tuned for all of that. So now, I had originally not planned on doing any more volleyball videos, at least this year. However, the quarterfinal action this past Saturday was absolutely amazing, and we had a lot of really exciting games, and we also had one major tournament upset that I wanted to highlight in this video, and then I might have to record a separate video talking about the national tournament teams that I think are on the bubble, which bubble teams, and again, this is just Crossroads League teams only, which teams on the bubble do I think have the best chance of getting in, which ones do not. And of course, I'll have to look on my iPad and pull up the latest RPI and the ARC rankings. Now, we should have an updated view of that coming up on Wednesday, but at least for the purpose of this video, at least talking about that, I definitely wanted to highlight that, just take a brief look at that, and then maybe probably record a separate video, more than likely, talking more about that. And of course, I plan on, and obviously I hadn't planned on doing any recapping for all of the, not just the quarterfinal round, but also the semifinal round, the championship round coming up on Wednesday night and this upcoming Saturday, respectively. So I hadn't planned on doing any of that, but I think just because of how competitive the league has been this year, with all the massive upsets that we've seen in the regular season and so far in the Crossroads League tournament, I figured, why not record daily game recaps, following all of the tournament round games. For the quarterfinal round, that's why I'm recording this video. Then the semifinal round, Wednesday night. So I'll be recording a video Thursday recapping that. And then, of course, next Monday, recapping recapping the championship round, I should say, because the championship game is coming up Saturday. And then also next Monday, I think I'll also record a separate video talking about the final RPI and the ARC rankings going into the national tournament once the league tournament is official, so we have a lot better understanding of which teams on the bubble have the best chance of making it into the national tournament, which ones don't. So again, I'll be doing all of that next Monday, so make sure that you stay tuned for that. But I will record a separate video after this one, giving you an updated view of the latest RPI and the ARC rankings, just to get a little bit better picture of what may or may not change for the final rankings on the for ARC and RPI that will be coming up Wednesday, and I'll be talking more about that coming up next Monday after recapping the championship game from this Saturday. So the first matchup that we had from Saturday night, we had 7-seed Bethel at 2-seed Mount Vernon, and this was a close game, and I knew it had a chance of being really close. Mount Vernon, though, with the 3-0 sweep. Now, Mount Vernon swept Bethel 3-0 in Mishawaka, the second game of the regular season. And I really thought that Bethel would have a lot more energy, that this game might have a potential upset written in it, which Bethel played hard. They actually had the lead late and pretty much in all three sets, and Mount Vernon was able to take the lead back and then pull away for the victory. 25-23 Mount Vernon in the first, 22-25 Mount Vernon in the second, and 25-20 Mount Vernon in the third. Looking at the set at each individual set, Bethel hit 324 in the first set, Mount Vernon 316. Bethel just .088 in the second, Mount Vernon 229, and then Bethel 176 in the third, Mount Vernon 300. So looking at some stats for Bethel, you had Sophia Beeson with 9 kills, you had Liberty Pearson with 5, Haley Beidenbach with 2, but she had 14 digs, and you had Paige Franz with 1 kill and 14 digs. You had Taylor Delp with 8 kills and 6 digs. You also had Brianna Bosket, 3 kills, and Ainsley Tack with 10 kills for the Pilots. Looking at key players for Mount Vernon Nazarene, you had Morgan Schlebach with 11 kills, and 5 digs. You also had Faith Maloney, 10 kills, I should say, and 2 digs. Reagan Nuss, 5 kills, 13 digs. Jalen Tang, 13 digs. And then you also had Libby Evanshine with 11 kills and 4 digs. And freshman outside hitter from Canal Winchester, Evelyn Brown, 9 kills for her on the match. And that was your match up there. And then the next match up takes us to Upland, Indiana, where this was the 4-5 matchup. 5-seeded Spring Arbor at 4-seed Taylor, and Taylor had been lights out at home all season long. Now, Taylor did lose a couple of games at home. The only games they lost at home in the regular season was to Indiana Wesleyan last Saturday. They also lost to Bethel the first time in the regular season at Taylor, and then they lost to Marion in the regular season also at Taylor. And this game was an upset. Spring Arbor, this was the first major upset. Well, I guess I wouldn't say major, but a mild upset at that. 3-0 sweep for the Cougars out of Michigan, 25-22, 25-17, and 25-9 respectively. Spring Arbor in the first set hit 286. Taylor just 120. The second set, Spring Arbor 250, Taylor .062. And in the third and final set, Spring Arbor hit 429 and no errors compared to negative 079 and 10 errors for Taylor. Looking at stats for Spring Arbor, you had Isabel Kirkendall with 8 kills. You had Palmer Fortress with 16 digs. Kelsey Lilly, 5 kills. Cammie Wedge, 1 kill and 12 digs. Keely Heinzman with 4 kills. Julia Mitchell with 4 kills. And Kendall Ballenbacher with 9 kills and 13 digs. Now for Kendall, she now is the all-time leading kills leader at Spring Arbor, surpassing the girl that held it previously, which was back from 2008 through 2011. So really, really amazing to see that out of Ballenbacher. And then Natasha Bickle had 9 kills and 3 digs. For Taylor, you had Michaela Flagel with 16 digs on the match. You had Ruth Anderson, 10 kills. Ellie Fry, 10 kills as well. Fry with 11 digs. And Lindsay Springer with 4 digs as well for Taylor. And that was your matchup there. And then the next matchup takes us to Huntington, 6-seeded Marion at 3-seeded Huntington. This was the game that I wanted to talk about because I had said last week that if this was that for Marion, this was a game that I definitely saw them, if there had been an upset coming, I did say last week that Marion could very easily win this game, and that this matchup could definitely be the biggest upset of the tournament. And I accurately predicted that as 6-seed Marion with the big upset here, 3-1 over the Foresters, 25-14. Huntington in the second, 25-19, 25-22 Marion in the third, and 25-14 Marion in the fourth. Huntington is 24-8 on the year. Marion goes to 18-10. And for Marion hit 161 on the match. Huntington just .087, so really uncharacteristic to see that, especially because this was a Huntington team that really throughout all of the regular season, they were just lights out in about 98% of their games. Now, when they played Goshen to the third to last game of the regular season, I noticed Huntington was really beginning to struggle a little bit. And then when they went to Grace, the second to last game of the regular season, Huntington, they looked kind of off a little bit in that game, even though they were able to come back and win that. And then when they went to Spring Arbor for the last game of the regular season, Huntington just was not themselves. They really, really struggled in the last game of the regular season at Spring Arbor last Wednesday night. And then in the first round of the league tournament, Huntington just did not have it at all in that game. So this is really going to be interesting for them in terms of a national tournament potential bid. Now, looking at stats for Marion, you had Sammy Littell with 14 digs, Nicole Wilkinson with 10 kills on the match, Evie Dart with 5 kills, Emma Lyons with 24 digs, so really, really good numbers there. Avery Toole with 8 kills, Maya Cunningham with 3 kills, Chloe Cook 13 kills for the Knights with 7 digs. You had Callaway Marsh with 5 digs and Corey Dryden with 14 kills and 17 digs. So really, really good numbers there. Meanwhile, for the Foresters, Kennedy Urban with 16 digs, Olivia Cron with 15 digs. So really, really good numbers there as well. You also had Haley Cruz, 5 kills, 10 digs. Trevin Terry with 7 kills. And you had Layla Meyer, 1 kill and 24 digs. So how about those numbers for the libero? And then Mason Robach, 6 kills with 2 digs. Lauren Ross, 6 kills with 5 digs. And then we had Leah Carter with 9 kills and Maggie Holland with 6 kills and 3 digs. And that was your matchup there. And then the final matchup takes us to Lucky Arena, Marion, Indiana, where the Lady Lancers of Grace faced off against the Lady Wildcats of Indiana Wesleyan. And Indiana Wesleyan, the 3-0 sweep here, 25-20, 25-18, and 25-19, respectively. And this was a hard-fought game. And I was at this game on Saturday, the very, very first home IWU volleyball game that I had ever attended. And it was absolutely a blast. That is for sure. Definitely well worth being there. And I brought a little bit too much extra juice, and my hands were quite worn, to be honest, with all the clapping that I did. So, and it was well worth it, I will say that. And just an amazing, amazing game. Got a chance to say hello to Coach Motes after the game, as well as talking to Ava Geroldsma after the game as well. And of course, that was a lot of fun. And I found out that she's likes one of my most favorite college football teams. So that obviously was pretty cool as well. And I'm like, hey, this actually, this is pretty cool that, we definitely like the same college football team. So I'm like, hey, that makes, perfect sense, and then I'm like, yeah, we'll definitely be good friends since we like the same college football sports team, that's for sure. And then looking at some key stats. So yeah, it was really a lot of fun being there on Saturday. And man, there's just nothing like IWU volleyball at home in the postseason, that I can tell you for an absolute fact, 1,000%. So looking at stats for Grace, you had Emma Blackford with 4 digs, Levin Snow, 6 kills and 2 digs, Reagan Owens with 5 digs, Abby Leffring, 2 kills, 2 digs, Livia Tate, only 1 kill on the match, Carson Witt with 6 digs, Liz Schmidt, the libero, with 9 digs on the match, Reese McCutcheon with 3 digs, Anna Elkin with 8 kills, Leah Henderson, 4 kills, Molly Hoffman, 8 kills, 2 digs, and Olivia Martinez with 9 digs. Grace as a team was limited to just .086 on hitting percentage with IWU's defense, so that obviously is really, really good numbers there, especially for the Wildcats. The Wildcats hit .278 on the match, so obviously that tells you all you need to know. And looking at stats for the Wildcats, you had Kamea Murray with 1 kill and 7 digs, Abigail Porter, 2 kills and 5 digs, Katie Notter with 1 kill, and she also had 14 digs, so really good numbers there. And how about Shay Williams? Shay Williams played absolutely amazing. 14 kills on the match with 2 digs, so that was absolutely incredible the way she played. Marissa Mullins, 6 kills on the match, and she also had 3 blocks, and all 3 blocks were at the net. And man, when I saw that, I was so excited. I'm like, yay, Marissa, let's go. That was pretty awesome. And then you also had Marin Sanchez with 7 kills and 3 blocks as well. So, and I'm like, man, Marin, you go. Like that was just amazing. 7 kills for Sanchez. Jessica Ickes with 6 kills and 3 digs on the match. You also had Deyesi Luis with 3 digs on the match, and Ava Geroldsma, 11 kills, 12 digs. So man, and of course, if those were basketball terms, she definitely would have had a double-double. And and some of those kills she had on Saturday with digs, I'm like, man, like, you go, girl. Like that is just absolutely incredible the way she played. So man, so that was obviously pretty exciting, to say the least. And so the Wildcats advanced to the semifinal round, and that was your match up there. So getting you set for the semifinal matchups, you will have Indiana Wesleyan, the 1 seed, versus 5 seed Spring Arbor. That will be this Wednesday night, 2 days from now, 7 o'clock. And then 2 seed Mount Vernon Nazarene facing 6 seed Marion. That will also be at 7 p.m. on Saturday. And those are your teams that are left in the tournament. So looking at the standings, you had Grace. They end their year 15-16. There's still a chance that they could make the NCCAA volleyball tournament because they play in that division as well. So their season may not be over. So 15-16 for them, that's up in the air. The Bethel Pilots, with their loss, they end the year 16-16, 8-10 in the conference. Marion is 18-10 right now, and of course they're carrying on their season, trying to make it to the league title game and potentially steal a bid into the national tournament. And then Spring Arbor currently 23-9. They're trying to keep their postseason run alive, make it to the league title game, and potentially steal another bid if they're able to upset Indiana Wesleyan. And then, of course, you have Taylor at 20-11, and they're definitely a team on the bubble going into nationals. I'm going to talk more about them in my next video in terms of the last RPI and the ARC rankings. And then I'll give you, of course, a full update on the RPI and the ARC rankings next Monday once the league tournament is official, so we can start talking next Monday about, okay, well, which teams have the best chance of getting in, which ones don't. I'm still going to talk about that in that same scenario here in just a few minutes as of today, so make sure that you stay tuned for that. And then you have Huntington. They end their year 24-8. They are definitely on the team they're a bubble team, I should say. So I'm going to be talking more about them. And, of course, Mount Vernon Nazarene, 24-7, currently ranked 12th in the country. And more than likely, they could move up into the top 10, maybe up to 9th when the next poll comes out on Monday. We don't know. And then, of course, the Wildcats, 25 of Indiana Wesleyan, 25-4 right now on the year. Taylor ends their year in conference 11-7. Huntington ends their year in conference 12-6. And despite Huntington's potential bid in the national tournament maybe falling short, the one bright spot for Huntington is they did set a program record for the most wins in a season since the 2007/2008 school year. So really, really amazing to see that, despite them potentially not making the national tournament. And the Wildcats, 25-4, they finished 17-1 in the conference. Now, the last time they went 17-1 in the conference, for contrast, they actually made it all the way into the Elite Eight round. So obviously we're going to see, how all that plays out. That is for sure. And so it's going to be interesting, that is for sure, to see how all that plays out. And we are going to, now I'm going to talk about the, actually, let me pull up the latest thing here. Oh, actually, so this was last Wednesday, or last Tuesday, I should say, pulling up the latest RPI standings, so I'm going to talk more about that in my next video. So if you did enjoy this video, please either like this video, leave me a comment down below, or subscribe to my channel. Any one of those options helps me out greatly. Now, if you have not yet subscribed to my channel, please do so. My goal is to hit 500 subscribers by February 21st, 2026. And I'm looking really, really good to achieve that number. So please keep on subscribing to my channel so you're first notified whenever I upload new episodes. Please share my channel as well with your friends, your family, and really anybody that you know that would be interested in watching these sports videos, I guess I should say. So again, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you here in just a couple minutes with my next video, and God bless.